I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with a pretty unusual piano in many ways. Simply put, this is a Knabe Baby Grand. It was made by Samick in their South Korean factory in this most unusual polished bubinga finish. It is not very often when we get a piano in our inventory that has a bubinga finish. This is a exotic veneer grain, wood grain, that is only sometimes occasionally available on pianos. And when it is available, it usually commands a much higher price than the base ebony model. I know many manufacturers offer this, but it's usually like a special order. They're hard to find. Really gorgeous, polished bubinga case. And I said it was made by Samick. It is very much a Knabe. What they did was use the old designs from Baltimore, back when Knabe was right here in Maryland, Baltimore. They used the same scale design and manufactured a piano with that scale design, and that's what this piano is. And it sounds like a Knabe to me, especially that distinctive, that melody range. If we're going to get technical speaking, it's the second partial of every note. That's very prominent. That's the decisions that were made in Baltimore by Knabe way back when to have the piano shaped the way it is, with a wide tail, by the way, and the cast iron plate and the soundboard and the bridges all shaped the way they are. That determines how the piano sounds in large part, no matter what hammers are in the piano. That is the scale design, and that's what will distinguish one manufacturer from another if they should choose to make their own designs, which most of them do. And the Knabe Baby Grands especially always had a distinctive sound, which in my opinion it was quite reminiscent of old 1800s pianos that had sort of different sounds and different registers of the piano, almost mimicking the different types of human voices. And I think it's no surprise that the original Baltimore Knabe piano was selected by the Metropolitan Opera back in the 20s, I think. And we've had many Knabes in here over the years. We tend to run into them here in Maryland. And multiple times I've sold them to singers who needed a piano at their home to accompany themselves, or if they had a pianist accompanying them as they practiced. It's a piano that's quite appealing, I think, to people who sing and are involved in local music because of the different tones and different parts of the piano. It's not as much of a modern sound. In my opinion, Steinway really innovated the really uniform, smooth sound across the keyboard. And that became more common in pianos starting in the late 1800s, but not every manufacturer chose to go with that design, and I think Knabe was one that went with a more old school sound. And really, when I've mentioned it in other Knabe videos that I've done here in the store, I like to point that out, as it really does have a distinct sound, and if you're looking for something a little different, still with a modern construction, but it just has that old school sound, I think Knabes are the way to go, or at least it's one way to go. It's the one we most commonly have in the store. What's not so common is one that's so new. This was built in 2002 by Samick, as I said. The original Knabe company had merged into a number of other companies in 1908 to form American Piano Company, which itself merged with Aeolian Weber Pianola Company in 1931. That became Aeolian American. They operated a factory in Rochester, New York, making Knabe pianos alongside Mason & Hamlin, Chickering, Steck, Weber, some other pianos. That factory closed in 1982, and I don't recall if the Knabe name was used in between when Aeolian went out of business in 1985, and until this piano was made. But somewhere along the line, Samick acquired not only the rights to the name, but also the designs, the original Baltimore designs, and made a new piano that sounded like an original Knabe. Really quite an unusual type of piano. We don't get stuff like this in the inventory. It's familiar, but it's unusual. So really very impressive piano. As I mentioned, Knabe baby grands had the wide tail that always gave their pianos a especially deep and resonant sound, making them sound bigger than they look. I mean, this is only 5'2" inches, the same as the old Knabe baby grand design, but that really wide tail gives these pianos a very powerful bass that I'll demonstrate a little bit more here. It sounds like a Knabe, really quite something. If I remember an old story, it was, I think Rick Jones told me this some time ago. There was a lot of competition early in the 20th century to manufacture baby grands to become competitive. They were becoming more fashionable as the years passed, especially as the Depression came. And Steinway finally came out with a baby grand design in 1935, known as the Model S, still made today. Until that point, Knabe had been making their own 5'2" baby grand in Baltimore, and they would set up a booth in, I think it was Central Park, New York City, Manhattan, and sell pianos, baby grands that were very compact, with a powerful sound and well made, that could also be moved up a little bit more easily up tight New York apartment stairs. And the original Knabe baby grand was a little narrower than this. Homes have changed since the early 20th century, but it was quite compact, and it was easier to move up the stairs and into tight spaces, such as what New Yorkers were living in. And I mean, it's not a whole lot smaller than this, but every inch counts in that scenario. I understand that it threw Steinway into some displeasure for quite some time until they came up with their own baby grand. So that's another story about these pianos. Quite a bit of history if you look into the history of Knabe. We're, I think, quite proud of it here in Maryland, it being originally from Baltimore, and this being a nice reproduction of that original design. So there are some other features about this piano which are unusual. The action is made by Renner in Germany. Renner is a supplier of piano action parts to the whole trade. They're based in Stuttgart, Germany, and they supply hammers and other action parts to a number of companies around the world, including Bösendorfer, Steinway's Hamburg factory. And every so often they'll ship out to the East, the Far East. I've seen some Japanese pianos with Renner hammers or even Renner actions, like an Atlas or a Diapason. And well, Samick was one of their customers too, so they ordered a Renner action made in Germany for this piano, fitted it, regulated it. They also, rather extraordinarily, ordered a Ciresa soundboard with spruce made in Italy, or milled in Italy. And Ciresa is the brand name of the soundboard. There's a label on the back side of the soundboard, and it even has a serial number separate from the piano. We rarely run into this special type of Italian spruce in soundboards, but I know we had a Kawai once, many years ago, an RX2, that also had a Ciresa soundboard. It was a limited edition. Kawai called up Italy and got a hold of this material. And it always really, whatever it is about the wood, it really makes the piano speak and really gives it a lot of tonal projection and a wide dynamic range, which I think this piano also has. So very impressive what has gone into this piano and its manufacturer. And it's a piano that we've worked on. Actually, the previous owner took advantage of our lifetime trade-up guarantee, upgraded to a larger piano, and more expensive. And you can do that too with this piano or anything else we may have in our inventory if you choose a different piano. Please make sure to have it in tune twice a year by a professional technician, and keep it away from extremes of humidity. A moderate and stable relative humidity is crucial for keeping any piano in good condition, no matter the brand name or where it was made. And if you do that, you can, if you wish, return to us and trade this piano in, or any piano from us in, for exactly the instrument sales price and upgrade to another piano that's appreciably nicer. But again, I would say not a whole lot is going to show up that's quite like this piano. Very rarely do we get any larger Knabe brands. You might possibly consider other American brands of piano that are bigger than this particular piano to get that same sort of old school sound. But I would say if you're looking specifically for a bubinga piano, I would hold on to this. I haven't seen a bubinga piano here in quite some time, many years I think. And my colleagues have done a beautiful job polishing up, really making it shine. Really stunning piece of furniture, unlike what we've seen here in a long time. And all the brass is shiny too. Really a beautiful piece of furniture in addition to being a wonderful musical instrument. So a lot going for this piano. Oh, and one more little detail that, again, we rarely see. The sharps on this piano are rather unusual. They have ebony sharps. I believe they are real ebony. It certainly has the grain of ebony, such as I see on an old piano, or maybe some later model upscale Yamahas, I think, sometimes would have them. And usually they're just painted black or stained black. But here they are two-toned. The top of the sharp is ebony, black colored, and the bottom of it is brown, which is probably more the natural color of the ebony wood. Ebony is a very dark wood when unstained, but it's not completely black all the time, and there are some variations. And this actually showcases it's a very curious decision, but it's really a stunning, very unusual look. It really sets it off. You can see the grain of the ebony below the black top part. You see the variations in color and different darknesses of the original dark brown wood. Paul and I agreed earlier that it sort of makes the piano the keys look like a harpsichord. Some old harpsichords would have two-toned keys. So something that really doesn't change the way the piano plays, but it's another nice touch. They really put a lot of effort into this piano to make it play and stand apart well. So what else can I say? It does have, as I said, the Knabe sound. This particular piano, with respect in particular to the tone and the touch, I think the tone is neutral. It has a wide range. It can sound very bright if you wanted to. It also has a much darker sound, and it responds quite well to that too. So depending on how you play it, you can make it bright or mellow. That works out to be a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, and that's what we'll rate this piano. The touch, I think, is a little bit on the firm side, which in my opinion is consistent with Samick grand actions, although it is very smooth, as we would expect from rental parts from Germany. So I'll give it a 6 on a scale from 1 to 10, from light to firm. And it will come with a bench, its original matching bench. At the time of this video, we do not have the bench available. We're actually getting it reupholstered, but it will be included with this piano. It has matching legs that are also finished in bubinga, and that will be included with the piano once it's ready. We weren't happy with the top of it, the upholstered seat when it came in, so we're getting it nice and redone. So that will be included, and as I said, 10-year warranty, all parts and labor, and 100% lifetime trade-up guarantee, like everything else we sell. So please, oh, and one more thing. There's a lot about this piano. It has a slow motion fall board, so if you want to, especially if you have children and you don't want them hurting their fingers, accidentally knocking down the key cover, that's built in from the factory, a slow close fall board. Finally, so please come by and see this for yourself, a very unusual piano. We encourage you to play this piano along with anything else in our inventory you may be interested in. But if you can't make it, always give us a phone call or send us an email. Thanks.